Today we're talking about some of the big things: time, purgatory, sin, missing the mark, 5D time. So starting with missing the mark, the word that we, in Europe or the West see as sin, in Hebrew is actually CHEIT, which is missing the mark. It's an archery term, but it's the actual word that was used when discussing what sin was. So instead of kind of the Catholic interpretation of you've done something wrong or you've had a wrong thought, where you're just self-flagellating all the time because that's Catholicism. Sorry, I was in Catholicism, I know that. For anyone who's still Catholic, the actual literal word means to miss the mark. And the context they put it in was to aim at a hair and miss the mark. So it's very precise in that you either understand the concept and you get it, you hit the mark, or you're lost in the delusion and you're missing the mark. Which, as you can see, is an incredibly different concept than what the, anglicized Western idea of sin is. Kind of like how karma is seen as different in India than our understanding of it here in the West. Missing the mark is more akin to not getting it, which fits in a lot more with the situation that we find ourselves in, like as Mandela affected people who are trying to figure out the real essence of reality and what's actually going on. It would appear that missing the mark is people, people that don't get it, don't see it, don't know what's going on with it, and we see something and we're trying to figure it out, but none of us have mastered it yet. So we're still in this race to hit the mark, which is the definition, I guess, in this interpretation of beating sin, sign, time, because sin is death, so missing the mark is death. Missing the mark puts you in alignment with time. Hitting the mark takes you out of time entirely, and that brings you to 5D time, where you have checkerboard time, where you're not in linear time. So you can see how all of these weird pieces kind of fit together. So how do all these new definitions fit in with the new definition of purgatory? The new definition of purgatory in this timeline is a state or place of suffering inhabited by the souls of sinners who are expiating their sins before going to heaven. That kind of sounds to me like a place that you would stay while you're still missing the mark. Like as soon as you've hit the mark, then you've expiated your sin, which sin is missing the mark. So once you hit that mark, you can move on to the next phase.